What's happening, fishing friends? Today's a fun video because it's kind of weird. I'm doing two things. One, fishing a glide bait, something I have really no confidence in whatsoever, but this is a special glide bait. You'll see why here in a second. And the second lure or rig, I guess you would say, that I was using is a drop shot, something that I absolutely hate to fish. So something I have no confidence with and something I hate. Weird times. This is actually the same day I was fishing a video from yesterday, throwing the topwater. I got the hook stuck in my leg. That'll be linked at the end. This is the same day. I ended up switching tactics after the topwater and found some more fish on these. So enough yapping. Let's get out there.
Well, that's pretty cool. I've had a few fish follow it already. It's got an interesting action to it. You can slow it and kind of chop walk it, but when you get it up toward the top and reel it kind of fast, it's like a wake bait. It kind of slithers and crawls. Slow it down and chop it. That's a fish. The DEBO'S swim bait. Look at it. The homemade DEBO carved by hand little wooden swim bait. Looky there. It works. To everybody said this was ugly. Come on. First fish of the day on it. You guys even see that? I just swam that from behind the rock. That dude was waiting for it. That's two on DEBO'S homemade swim bait. What do you know? It works. Alright, well, it's definitely not the prettiest swim bait ever made, but by golly, the action's good enough to fool some of these fish in here. It's two on it. There's another one. Absolute beast. But that's on. Ow! Almost in my hand. Treble hooks are dangerous today. It's all these little fish that want to put these right in your fingers. There we go. Another fish on the homemade DEBO'S swim bait. It works. It actually works. There it is. The old DEBO glide bait. Still working. Wow. I'm honestly shocked. They really like that erratic, you know, that choppy deal to it, and it can do that. It can also do the swim. Oh man, old DEBO. The old DEBO glide coming in clutch here. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thought that this silly little hand-carved thing that I wanted to make, I'm like, man, some of these swim baits are just crazy expensive. Try to make one of my own. Who knew? It actually works. Boom. Oh! Right there when I hit it real fast, he came up and grabbed the tail of it. They like that erratic, letting it kind of sink just a little bit, and that erratic kind of beam, beam, beam. Got it. Right as I sped it up. Oh, lost him. Dang it. Sped it up right there and he hit it, and something just bit me on the ankle, dang it. Oh, the DEBO'S swim bait. That's pretty cool that I'm able to get some bites on this, working it a little quicker in there. Saw that dude flash behind it and I sped it up and he hit it. Oh, I'm not recording. Hey, you flung my worm. I don't have many of those. Dang it. Well, I found a little brush pile out here. And yeah, successfully used side scan to throw a drop shot out at some brush offshore. Typically not my deal. There we go. There's one doing that. Cool. See what other worms I got in here. My goodness, look at that. Debo doing drop shot things. Did he take my worm to? Oh my gosh, he took my swim bait. Okay, well that's 2 casts, 2 fish. Going out a little deeper with the drop shot. My golly. Who'd have thought that Debo was a drop shot master? There we go. Toad. Except he threw my swim bait, dang it. I hate to do this because I just rigged up, but let me switch here. Check this out. People had asked me a while back if I'd ever tried these EWG style hooks for a drop shot, but at the bottom you just stick your weight on there. The top you tie your line to it, so you don't have to worry about tying a Palomar and getting your leader right. You just cut your leader to where you want it, tie to that, you're good to go. And it's an EWG hook. So now I can take some of these worms that I made, they're a little bit thicker, and I can rig it just like I would on a regular EWG hook, so it's completely weedless, snagless around this wood, because I want to try to hit some of this brush pile again. Oh yeah! There's one. Well, it's dinky drop shotting with Debo, but ow! Dang it, put it right in my thumb. Dinky drop shot with Debo, but that's another one. Oh, a better one. Best one of the day, and it came by way of the drop shot. Have to land it first, but it feels decent. Better than the super tiny dinks we were catching. Oh yeah, solid fish. All right. How about that on the drop shot? Hitting the edge of the grass line, my goodness. Who'd have thought that would catch a fish? Okay, biggest one of the day, switching over to that little drop shot rig. Let's get a weight. Oh yeah, better than I thought. 3 pounds, 3 ounces. Chunky dude. 3 pounder there on the day. On the drop shot, we'll take it. Thanks for eating, feller. Wasn't recording. Another. That's the next cast, 2 in a row. Right after that 3 pounder. All this is a point that drops out with some grass on the end of it. And originally I started fishing here because of the little brush pile, but that's out even further. So I'm just targeting the edge of this grass on this sloping point with a drop shot. Weird times, folks. Drop shot definitely works 1,000 times better from the kayak, but as you can see, you still got snagged in that tree and broke off. These hooks do make it a little easier to tie up though. You don't have to worry about, okay, where do I want my Palomar knot? How far is the leader? Just tie straight to the hook and then tie your leader on. One more on the drop shot. Grass edges, grass lines, grass edges. That's where we're finding them. All right, there we go. Use the gill removal. Off they go. Best way to get those hooks out when they're in just a little deep. Son of a gun, I've been doing horrible at that. How many fish is that today that I've caught? Wasn't even recording. One more. Drop shot. Drop shot Debo. New nickname. Hats and shirts coming soon. Still the same worm. This is that green pumpkin with some orange and black flake. I don't even remember what I made this. It's got some like reflective flake. I'm just getting to the edge of this grass line and hopping it, pulling through it, and they're just kind of waiting. And fish have just been down there anywhere from like 12 to 17 foot, I think I've been in. Super clear, so grass is growing down there even that deep. There's the grass right there. That's a fish. Yep. Get right to the edge of that grass and get the wink. The drop shot. It does work. Another one. Well, this worm is about roached. I don't think I can get another fish out of it. Luckily, this is one that I made. Actually, one that I made. I got more here. This is a pretty cool little mold. I'll leave it linked below. Brothers Brimm has some cool stuff. There we go. This one's just a little bit different. Still green pumpkin, but it's got other flake in it. I don't know. I was just messing around one night, pouring some of these. Pretty cool. Open pore mold, so you can do different laminates and stuff with it. There's one. Edge of the grass. Find the bass. I'm glad we found one good one, because this has been a drop shot dink fest minus the one super solid fish. One more. Ooh, look at this one. This is a green pumpkin with some rosy red highlight, some chartreuse green flake in it, and another Debo custom. These worms are cool. Little kind of a like a spade tail worm. I was thinking shaky heads when I originally got it, but coming out here I was like, well, I want just a slightly larger worm, and I remember I had these. So
yes, fishing friends, weird times on Debos fishing. I know, fishing out of a kayak, throwing a weird looking little glide bait, and I'm dang proud of this thing because this was all hand carved, hand sanded, no power tools, well, except to drill the holes. I guess I used a drill. But my first try at a glide bait, and I tell you what, it actually has a sweet choppy action to it. It kind of clicks. It's wood, but I coated it with 2-part epoxy, just did a quick paint job on it because honestly, I didn't even figure it would work, and it sure as heck did. I did have to weight the hooks, if you can tell there. There you can see with some lead wire. Once I got everything on it, it didn't quite sink the way I wanted it to, so I wanted to sink just a little bit more even, so you can do that with the different hooks there. But yeah, turns out I got some of these rubber tails off of Tackle Warehouse, and it turned out to be a pretty dang good lure. As you can see, it caught fish. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Something I'm gonna have to throw more. Now, I was going back and forth between chopping it, so making it do this real quick underwater, and then I would just reel it quick, and it does a real good, like, you know, tight swimming action to it. So nothing special about the combo. This is the Shimano SLX rod, 7.2 medium heavy, extra fast, rated for lures up to 3/4 ounce. And the reel on here, I had to match it up. The Shimano SLX XT. I put some of the Tackle Warehouse rubber or foam EVA deal things on here. It's like a wind grip deal, just to make the knobs a little bit bigger. But yeah, the regular old SLX XT, not a crazy, you know, combo, but for a lot of these small swim baits, you know, only weighing a couple ounces, you don't need something insanely big. A medium heavy or a heavy like this will work. I'm just kind of lobbing it, casting it, and then I was using 17-pound P-Line CXX on there as my line. So it's like a copolymer, really tough copolymer. And actually that might only be 15 pound now that I say that, since I was just throwing the smaller one. But you don't need to go super crazy. I think a lot of people think, okay, I'm starting in swim baits, I've got to get a $500 combo and all this crazy stuff. Look, that's some dummy Debo whittled a swim bait in his basement and threw it on an SLX combo, went out and catch fish. So give it a try. It is pretty dang fun. I still have zero confidence in it, but something I am gaining more confidence in. Doesn't mean I like throwing it, but it's the drop shot, specifically out there for where and how I was fishing. So there was a slope out there like this, and there was grass kind of sprinkled in throughout there. And at the bottom of that slope, the grass completely died off, or it was very, very sparse, like just a little thing here and there. What I was doing was casting into that grass and getting just out of it, hopping it down that little drop off with the drop shot. And that's where I was catching them all. So this is a homemade Debo creation. I made a few of these. Like I said, these are an open pour from Brothers Brimm. Made some of these in some pretty neat colors. This has like a cool highlight to it, but it was basically this green pumpkin color, and then some of them had like orange flake. This one has like chartreuse with that reddish highlight. Just some random things I was making out in the garage. And the thing that was really neat about this is the hook. People have asked me to try these. I'll leave this link below. I think this was the 2-aught. So it's got your EWG hook here, but it's got a swivel on it. So the swivel you tie directly to up at the top. I think the people heard you busting through. You had to come and say hi. Hi, Mr. Stubby Dog. Yeah, you're a good boy. He heard me talking down here and had to come say hi. But anyway, that's the hook there. Pretty neat. So it's all in one. You don't have to worry about tying your Palomar and doing this deal with the line. You just cut your leader to length. I went about a foot with it. And then you just stick that in the little clasp deal there. I just tied a knot to it, or on the end of it, put that in there, and it's all in one, and this swivels. So even if your line stays, you know, in one spot, this can swivel and it isn't twisting everything up. So those are pretty neat. I like that. And then I was just using a little 1/8 ounce little cylindrical weight. Now the combo, I probably sound like a broken record here. Can I get that to focus? That's the Cashin Element, the new Z2 multi-purpose, 7-foot fast, medium heavy, rated for lures 3/16 to 5/8. Now normally I would not recommend this type of rod for a drop shot. I like something a little bit lighter, medium, sometimes even a medium light when I've got those real small light wire hooks. But with this one going with that little bit heavier EWG style hook, this worked great. But if I was throwing like a little, you know, size 2 mosquito hook, a light wire deal, I would go with like their Ned Rig rod. I don't know if they have a drop shot rod in the Element series, but I know the drop or the Ned Rig rod is a little bit softer. It's a medium power. And then the reel, forgot to go over the reel. The reel again, the Revo Rocket, I've actually liked that. Now the Revo SX, for the price and everything, I actually like that one just as well. This one's faster, but if you want to save some money, go to that Revo SX. This one's fast. If you want to pick up a bunch of line things where you're throwing like a wacky rig or drop shot where you're moving the lure with the rod, all the reel's doing is picking up extra line. And then of course, braid. I'm braid on all my spinning stuff. That's the P-Line Endurex, no fade braid. That's that bright green color. 10 pound to an 8 pound leader is what I was fishing, 8 pound fluorocarbon leader. So that's the question. How all have you been finding the summer fish? Summer's going to be over here soon. You know what? Labor Day is the kind of unofficial end of summer. It's coming up soon. I need to do a video of like a couple lures y'all should be trying before summer ends. But how have you been catching them? You know, drop shot, glide bait. These are things I don't, you know, normally throw, but sometimes you got to mix it up and listen to the conditions. The drop shot, I totally got. I see why that worked. The glide bait, I wouldn't put any money. I would have got any money on that ugly thing. But hey, it works, so you never know. You got to try it. But listen, today's subscribed fishing friend is my guy, Dennis Stewart. Just commented on the video from yesterday, throwing that topwater. Said, nice video. All I can say is embrace the dink. Yeah, sometimes you go out and catch a bunch of dinks. I was able to find the biggest fish of the day, over 3 pounds, on the drop shot. So hey, sometimes you got to switch it up. But he said, enjoyed the weekend get together. Sorry I'm going to miss it. Go Hawks. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully people actually show up. We should have a good time, but that's enough for me. Another video tomorrow. Love y'all. Thanks for watching, and until next time.